One of the most common things that we hear is people don't want to wear their cashmere every day because they don't really trust how they'll care for it. I'm going to show you today how I care for my cashmere. I think the golden rule is to treat natural fibres like you would your own hair. If you don't have a special cashmere soap, don't worry, just use shampoo. So first off, I go through the laundry, I put everything into different colour sections, the lights, and then the colours, and the darks. Start with the whites and show you what I do. I always take my rings off. Right, so I run the water so it's hand warm, just the same that you would be bathing a baby. And I fill up a tub. Check first to make sure that there's no stains, because if there's stains, then what I'd do, not use bleach. What you do is you would just literally, you'd fill it with water and squeeze it out. Fill it with water, squeeze it out. Don't do that friction, because that's what causes the fibres to lock together and you'll get a thick, hard piece of knitwear. I try and concentrate on the cuffs because that's what sort of tends to get the most grubby. I don't scrub, I just squeeze and just let the fabric do what it needs to do. It's pretty much the washing. Then I wring out really gently. I don't squeeze it too hard. I just put it beside just until you get on with the next one. I'll just get on doing the same thing with the other light colours. If you go light to dark, you can use the same water. Again, I always make sure that I just give the cuffs an extra special attention, not having too much friction on the fibre. Personally, I find this is the easiest and the quickest. This doesn't take long. Okay, so then I fill the tub again with fresh water. Once I let all the dirty water, soapy water out, I make sure it's not too hot on my wrist. I then repeat the process just to make sure I get all of the soap out of the jumper. You just don't want any buildup. Same as your hair. Natural fibres will always have that little tiny fibres coming out, because the little fibres are spun into the wool, and when they're tiny and you're wearing them, they wiggle around and then they'll pop out and people go, oh my god, my jumper's pilling. Well, it's not pilling, the little fibres are finding their way out. And if you wash your garment about 7 wears after you've bought it, you'll find that it actually helps that process. Once the little fibres are out and you gently take them off, you won't get them again. But if you shave them off, you will continue the process, because what you're actually doing is making a load of little tiny fibres, because you're shaving off the tops of perfectly good fibres. That's when pilling can get really bad. It's far better to take the little bubbles off with something like a cashmere comb that I'll show you after we've done this. So once I've done the washing and everything has been rinsed out gently, I pop it into the washing machine. And I don't really do just one piece at a time, I do a couple. Then I spread it out like this, and then I do a spin, and I make sure that it's as fast as it will go. I put it onto 1400 so that it spins real fast. It doesn't flop it about, because if it's flopping it about, it's just gonna create friction. That's just rinsing out any of the water without moving the fabric. Everything has stopped whizzing round now, and you can see that the fibres are just hardly being touched at all, because they're still soft and beautiful and lofty. So now they're out of the washing machine, we go and hang them up. So I use this, I put them over here and do it so everything's nice and straight. When people say about laying them flat, that's only because they're usually soaking wet. But when you've used the washing machine to spin it like I've just done, it's not really a problem. You just make sure that you dry it as you would lay it out, as you would like to be wearing it. If you've got a piece that's especially heavy, like for instance this piece, then you would lay it over 2 pieces. So that goes there, like that. Give it a bit of a shake, make it all beautiful. And you can see that it's pretty much dry already. I reckon tomorrow afternoon I'll be able to take off any pilling that I need to, give it a good steam, and wear it tomorrow night. Top tip that I was taught by someone who'd been in the industry for many, many, many years. When a garment is blocked, which means pulled into shape after it's been first made and washed and dried, and it gets a blast of steam going through it, it blocks the fabric. So it tells the fabric, this is the size and this is what you're going to be. This is the style of the jumper. This is you. This is you going forward. And what happens is when you wear a jumper and you wash it and everybody steals it, your jumper slowly forgets that it's a jumper. And so you want to have this kind of care system for your natural fibers all the time. Once you've washed it and dried it flat and de-pilled it, I put the steam iron on and make sure that there's lots of steam on a wool setting. And then I make sure that it gets all steamy, and I run the iron over and about that much over the top. I never press the iron onto the garment. I just steam it. So I do this literally, just steam it like this, and you'll see that the fibers underneath are all puffing up. You'll find that this is one of the best ways of making your jumper beautiful again. Other things we get asked about all the time is pilling. Pilling is literally something you get with all natural fibers. It's the small fibers working their way to the top. They're too small to be twisted together in a good firm twist when the yarn is spun. So you get this with all natural fibers. So when the little fibers pop up, you'll find, especially areas like this under your arm or whatever, you'll find like little tiny bubbles like this. You can use something like a cashmere comb like we have here, where you very, very, very delicately just brush it off, and you can see it's catching the little tiny bubbles, just very, very delicately going the same direction as your jumper, and you'll find that the jumper comes up as good as new. If you use Fuzzbuster or something that they still have, you'll find that you're actually creating a problem, because Fuzzbuster chops everything off the top, and for the first day it looks like a brand new jumper and it's great, but actually what it's done is it's made 1,000 little tiny cuts through the rest of the fibers, and all of those fibers will again start to find their way up to the top of the garment, and you'll think that you've got really bad pilling then. This is how I get rid of my bits on top of my jumpers, so I can keep my jumpers looking nice and new all the time.